What's up, everybody? We're going to talk about rifles for the end of the world. Um, it's kind of a tactical fantasy thing, but people are talking about it. I watched a few videos on it. And I think, if we're going to do a serious kind of thought experiment on this particular subject, a lot of people are kind of missing one of the key aspects of surviving if we're talking about this kind of end of the world survival apocalypse type thing, and that is sustainment. So, if you live in an urban area like a city, I think what's going to happen is over time, you're most likely going to leave that area because that's just going to turn into a violent, crazy place. So you got to sustain yourself. Um, and that's why I have these rifles here. I think they're the more one of the most important rifles to have when it comes to end of the world type stuff. And there's a couple of them here. So this one right here, and they're both chambered the same caliber, 22 long rifle. This one has a silly little red dot on it because I kind of was doing reviews on these little cheap Amazon red dots. So I thought, you know what, I'll throw one on here, and it's actually kind of handy. This one's really quick to get on target. This has a nice big window on it, good cheek weld. This is just a Bear Creek Arsenal. It's like their 1022 clone. Takes standard 10 round Ruger 1022 mags, but awesome little rifle. And why the heck am I saying a 22 is good for the end of the world? Well, you got to hunt, right? I look at that because now, granted, my upbringing is a little bit different than maybe some others' upbringings. I grew up in Alaska, and we spent a little bit of time as a kid, a couple of years, we actually homesteaded as a family out in the woods of Alaska. We actually built a cabin, lived off the land, did the whole thing. So sustainment was really important. When I was 5 years old, I was carrying around, it was like a bolt action 22 rifle. I have no idea what it was, but I just have memories of doing that and actually driving around on a three-wheeler of all things in the middle of the wilderness in Alaska. Great childhood memories. But in any case, this thing, you can hunt with it. Yeah, you can do some self-defense. It's not the greatest for self-defense, but you can hunt with it. And believe it or not, when I'm talking about hunting, people think, well, you can't kill a deer, you can't kill an elk. No, it is kind of a problem with this. But when you're hunting for survival, you have more of a chance of getting small game than larger game. In my area, that would be turkeys, rabbits, squirrels, all that good stuff. A lot of small game out there. You're going to run across that a lot more often than you are the big game. Deer are a lot more skittish. Yeah, you can come across them, but it'll be easier to smack a couple squirrels during the day. Hey, there's some sustenance. Or smack a turkey. There's a lot of turkeys in my area. You can kill a turkey with a 22 long rifle. So in any case, you can hunt a heck of a lot better with this than with a 5.56 rifle. Number one, your signature is a lot less. You're not making as much noise, even with unsuppressed. I do have a suppressed 22 here that I'll show you. But you can hunt without worry about giving away where you're at, if that's what you're worried about. That would be one of my concerns. And as far as just a generalized rifle, if you're looking for just a generalized firearm all across the board, think of how much 22 ammunition you can carry on you. So having something like this would increase your survivability by quite a bit. Now, this right here is a little bit fancier. This one's not really done up for hunting because I would want something other than this red dot. I just have this set up. I just want to shoot this. This has a suppressor on it. This is a nice little 22 Smith & Wesson Model 1522. Great training rifles. If you have an AR-15 and you're tight on funds, if you're able to afford one of these, I suggest getting one of these Smith & Wesson M&P 1522s. Outfit it like you have your duty setup or whatever, your AR-15 setup, so that way you have a 22 trainer that you can take out and shoot if you just don't have the money to spend on a ton of 5.56 or whatever. So this is another example right here. This one with the suppression, I could throw standard subsonic loads in here. Depending on the load, I may have some issues cycling. I haven't tested that thoroughly in this particular setup. I may have some issues cycling, but that's okay. I can still manually cycle the gun between each round for hunting purposes. So now I have a super quiet gun that I can hunt game with. And yeah, you can defend yourself. It's not optimal. would this be the only rifle that I would suggest for, I guess, end of the world type stuff? No. No, I'd want more of a, a 5.56 or 7.62 by 39 or whatever, for the two-legged threats. But I firmly believe just where I'm at, in my area of the world here, I'm in more of a rural area, so I'm going to be more apt to just stay at my home versus trying to leave. Maybe there's a chance that if something happened, I'd have to leave anyway, but I'd want to stay there so I'd have a couple different rifles that I could use depending on what my needs were. So that's what I think. 22 long rifle is something that I think is going to be really, really good for these Armageddon / end of the world, whatever, without rule of law scenarios. I think it'd do really good, and it would greatly benefit you to grab at least one or two 22 rifles. They don't have to be semi-automatic like these. There's a lot of inexpensive bolt actions out there. Take that, throw a nice low-power optic on it, and that is just a sweet setup. I think Savage makes a couple good ones. A good, inexpensive bolt action. You can either throw a red dot on it or just an optic of any type, a rimfire optic, and you'll be good to go. So, comment section as always. Let me know what you guys think on what would be a great setup for end of the world type stuff. Doesn't have to be 22, but just let me know what your thoughts are.